We are just 1 year away from the release of Star Wars Episode 9, the final film of the sequel trilogy by J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that going into this movie, a lot of people, including myself by the way, are very curious about the character of Luke Skywalker and how J.J. Abrams is going to treat the character of Luke in this movie, and that's the big concern for sure. A lot of people are pretty much on edge of exactly what J.J. Abrams will do for the character in the final Skywalker saga film. Now, these past couple of months or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc., one of which has all to do with one of the set designs that will include both actor and actress Daisy Ridley and Mark Hamill. Now, what's really intriguing is that both Mark Hamill and Daisy Ridley are set to film a sequence this month over in Cardington, in front of a large set that is described as a temple of some kind on a jungle world. It's said that for the scene, Mark will need to stand still for some minutes for a sequence that will require next-generation special effects that will surprise fans. Daisy Ridley will be next to an R2-D2 prop on set, indicating it won't just be Luke and Rey, but R2 by her side as well. Another sequence will involve Mark Hamill standing behind Rey as she sits on a large rock set piece, likely the meditation rock that will be lifted by mechanics to emulate it floating in mid-air. This is described as a training/lecture scene from Luke to Rey and won't be the only scene that both Daisy and Mark have together. Additionally, meanwhile, another sequence for Mark Hamill will involve a shoot with Adam Driver using lightsaber props. Mark will be combating against Adam Driver in a duel on a wide field with lots of boulders in the background. This is likely a flashback sequence to show the training of Ben Solo. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this that really do pique my interest for this movie when it comes to the flashbacks that will be inserted into this film. Now, I'm really hoping that this one actually does make it to the finalized version of the movie. You know, in The Force Awakens, originally we were supposed to get Luke Skywalker fighting Darth Vader in front of Rey's eyes. We never got that. That would have been amazing. But as far as this one goes, not only would this actually add in a new element of Jedi training, showing us this type of duel between both Luke and Ben Solo, lightsaber to lightsaber combat on this unknown world, but also we're actually going to get a sequence between both Luke and Rey training. So I know that a lot of people, including myself here as well, feel that in The Last Jedi there is this missing piece, right, in Rey's training. It feels incomplete, at least in my opinion. I feel like that her training needed to be a little bit more lengthy or just more meaningful. I'm not quite sure how to really say this, but I just feel like that they should have been more true to the Jedi way. You know, her training was more around the lines of Luke trying to convince her of why the Jedi need to end. That was Rey's training, essentially, right? So now going into Episode 9, it seems as though that JJ is trying to make up for what was done in that movie and is trying to add in a third lesson or just a new lecture slash, training sequence for the character of Rey while she meditates on this large boulder that's going to be lifted by mechanics. So on set we have this large boulder. It's being dubbed the Meditation Rock once again, very similar to what we saw in The Last Jedi. You guys may remember years ago, we saw this over in Ireland on one of the sets, where a lot of people were starting to wonder what that rock was all about. Now, this rock seems similar, except it's going to be floating in mid-air. So this time, Rey is actually going to be using the Force in front of Luke Skywalker in a meaningful way and showing that her Jedi training is actually progressing. Now, one would argue, right? One would most definitely argue, does Rey even need more Jedi training? Does she really have to qualify to have more Jedi training? Does that really make sense since she's already powerful enough? Now, to me, I can totally see people's points of view on that, but I feel that for a character like Rey, if you're creating this character that's supposed to be this new version of Luke Skywalker, right, like the parallel of Luke from the original trilogy, I think that Rey definitely needs to go through some more training. I mean, even in Return of the Jedi, Yoda told Luke, you're not a Jedi yet, you gotta face your father, Darth Vader. So, what I think should happen is that in this movie, alright, this sequence that we're actually hearing about now is going to be a parallel to that of Yoda's sequence taken in a totally different way, where Luke is going to tell her, you're not a Jedi yet, you got a long ways to go, let me show you the ropes here. And that's when Mark Hamill, as Luke Skywalker, is going to actually do a scene in this movie, serving as what this scene is being dubbed as a lecture/training scene. So, with that being said, guys, what do you think about everything here? Let me know what you think below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.